Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. At the end of the last episode we got absolutely tons and tons of leather, and the reason we were getting all of that is so that we could do some enchanting on books, and that is exactly what I've been doing. And do you know what, I am absolutely sick of taking damage. I've done all my enchanting, it's time to eat, because every now and then... do you know what, there was something I wanted to show you that's quite irrelevant to do with that. Okay, so while you're over here you've got the regeneration beacon, which means that you don't have to eat, and when you're hitting the Enderman you're going to reduce your hunger meter and you're going to need to eat constantly. So because of that you can leave your hunger all the way down and you'll be regenerating. Now when you take damage your screen kind of derps around a bit, and what I've found and noticed while I've been doing this is if you're standing next to Enderman, when that happens you'll actually get pushed away from them. So when you take that damage from the hunger meter you'll physically get pushed, like you'll move, whereas if you're standing nowhere near the Enderman you'll actually stay in the same position, which is really strange, and a small little discovery that I've made while I've been doing this. Now I logged on today and there's cobblestone here because someone had removed all of the torches and took them away with them, and I only had 3 left, which shows how poor I am. I forgot to bring a stack of torches with me. Just one of those funny things that happens while you're doing this. But here's another one right here. Someone has obviously accidentally hit the carpet, which doesn't take long to break like that, and then they've replaced it with white carpet because they don't have black and purple, but they don't know about the automated collection. So in here, there you go, there comes your white carpet. There should be another piece going in there in a moment, but no. That's slightly worrying. That is very worrying because we have an automatic item disposal over here, and I don't see a piece of white carpet. If it did get rid of it, it could have gone straight out of the world. I think that needs some testing, you know, because there should be 2 bits of white carpet in there. Oh well. Okay, so let's put these back down here. Let's make sure we get this the right way. The black goes on that side and the purple on this side. So we found something that we need to test, and that's actually a good thing because today I'm going to be working on the Enderman farm. Now I want to move on to doing my base. I'm going to have a little talk about that at some point because we've got 1.7 around the corner, and I've kind of made up my mind on what I want to do, which is actually start work on my base. But one of the last things I felt like I needed to do before I go and work on that is finish off the Enderman farm, because we've never finished doing the pathway. We're supposed to have water we're supposed to have water covering the whole of this walkway all the way back to the Enderman farm, so that at no point can Enderman actually get into this, because they can teleport from out of there, or I think when they're actually falling they can teleport over to here, and that happens quite rarely, and the same thing happens at the other side as well. So that's one of the things I need to do, but as well as that we also need to sort out the item stream that's going to send all of the items, or ender pearls, because we have the filter. It's going to send all of those all the way back to spawn, and we can send it through the portal and then into the spawn chunks, and then we'll have loads of ender pearls there, so we can definitely do something interesting with that. But while I've been over here I've been realising that the design of this farm is decent, but there are a few things about it I don't like. The low ceiling is a little bit of a problem, and I'm not 100% sure what we can do with that, because the Enderman will be able to teleport in here if we make it any higher. So if we have a quick look, this is at half slab level. I think, I need to double check, but I think we can raise this by half a block, which is something I should do. One of the things that I've noticed is because it's carpets on the floor, whenever you place down extra chests and things like that, they float in the air and it can take up a lot of space. So we might want to expand this area a little bit as well, give people more options and chests for doing things, and there's quite a lot to be done. So anyway, let's talk about the enchanting, because I was doing that for quite some time. Now I brought with me I think 6 stacks of books, and I've gone through 5 of them. And what I've been doing is tons and tons of level 1 enchantments. Now these are the ones you will get at level 1. You will get protection 1, power 1, efficiency 1, sharpness 1, aqua infinity 1, which is quite rare. And if you do it at level 2, which I occasionally do because I don't want to keep going through the books, is projectile protection. So these are useless. I'm actually going to chuck those ones away. Aqua infinity is pretty good, and because I've got quite a lot of these I can basically put them on every single helmet that I have. So whenever I drop into water I should be able to see quite well, and I'm not sure if I've got that right or wrong. Aqua Infinity is the one that lets you see underwater, I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong, in which case you'll just be able to, you know, build and dig underwater slightly faster. So one of the things I didn't expect to happen when I came over here was to go through so much iron. Now I had a stack of iron blocks, and that makes what we're doing here very expensive, because I've made so many anvils where I've been combining books that I've actually gone through an entire stack of iron blocks. So thank God for that iron farm that we have, otherwise I would deem this not really worthy. Although I did get a lot of good enchantments out of it. So anyway, we're getting level 1s of each of these, and I'm just combining them with the anvils, which is very cheap. It costs, I think, 2 levels to combine 2 level 1s, and 2 level 2s is 5, so all I do is a bit of punching these endermen, then I turn around and do some of that. And so in case you didn't know, when you go up by levels, when you start out and you punch a few endermen, your levels will go up very quickly, and then as you get towards the higher levels, it takes a lot longer to go up. So because we're doing low level enchanting stuff, it means that you can just punch a few, get your levels, turn around, do your anvil repair, or, you know, combining the books together, and then do the same thing again. So it makes this whole process very quick. The same thing goes for enchanting these as well, because we're doing them all at level 1. So yeah, then I started combining them, and you can see here that I've got quite a few sharpness 5 books, I've got efficiency 5 books, I have some power 5, and some lower ones as well, and lots of protection 4, which is great. This means we can basically make like diamond armor that all has protection 4. I also have a Thorns book somewhere, which I thought was impossible. So we can get some decent enchantments out of this. Now I've got some more over in this I was about to say bookshelf, it's an ender chest. So yeah, you can see I've got plenty of stuff here. Let's just go through that quickly. But anyway, we've got another chest over here, and this one is full of enchantments that I did at level 26. Now level 26 is the best level to do enchantments on book to get Silk Touch, because I want to get some Silk Touch shears, and I didn't get one unfortunately, but doing it at level 26 you actually get a lot of quite useful things. So these sharpness 3 ones that you see here, they can go into the other chest and help us get some sharpness 5 swords, well, you know, books, which we're going to put on swords obviously. And we get unbreaking 3, which is great because we've got efficiency 5 books. Let's have a look here. So we can basically manufacture the best picks and shovels and all the things that we want just by using these books, which is why it's so good. And so I think between the two of these, doing level 1s and level 26, you can get a ton of really useful enchantments that we can put onto items. And now I feel like we're going to be really geared up. But one thing, this is going to take me a long time to take back to my base or to Hermittown, wherever it is. I'm going to put these books for now. In fact, I'm going to leave them here for now. And one thing that we really need to do is enchant a sword, because I still have this iron sword. However, I have a book to do that with now, so I'll probably put sharpness 5 onto a sword. Okay, so let's make this diamond sword. I think I've got enough to do this. We need to combine the books together first, I think. I'm not sure if there's a cheaper way of doing this. Let's have a look. That gets you 14 levels for the two of them, and that way around it's 12. So I'm going to put Unbreaking 3 on the sword so it lasts a little bit longer. That now works thanks to the updates. So Sharpness 5 and Unbreaking 3, there you go, we've got enough levels for it. That is an excellent sword. We also need to rename this immediately, which is going to cost me 33 levels. I'm not sure if that would have been cheaper if I had renamed the sword before adding books, but next time I do that, that is something to try. And so this is going to be a very good sword. However, something really cool that's going to come in 1.7, supposedly the bug has been fixed where when you strike at an enemy and you constantly click like that and you hit their hitbox, although they only take damage say once every so often, I'm not sure how long that is, you'll actually take durability. And I can give you an example of this right now. We've got 151, so I'm going to spam click over here, and what we killed 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're down to 124. So every single time that I click it takes damage. So we will go through this sword quite quickly, but the ones in the future when 1.7 are here, that means this sword with Unbreaking 3 will last for a very long time, which is really good. Where did this pig come from? Hello. I was literally down here. I went up to the top to skip the night. Kirshar's on the server and he wanted to skip the night, so I went up to the top, slept in the bed, came back down, and there's a piggy on my stairs. I don't know where he came from. I wonder if this is something to do with top mass. I don't know. But we still got loads of meat in here. Check this out. Tons and tons of meat. We're going to build some sort of smelter at some point. But anyway, just coming here and dropping off the books. I need to get some out of the ender chest and then pop over to the iron farm and pick some of that up. And then we're going to go back to the ender farm and continue working on it. So we are back at the Enderman farm, and although it was only, 30 seconds for you guys, it's been quite a while that I've been away gathering all the materials for doing building. And that last clip I edited a few bits out. I kind of rambled on a lot about the enchanting and that stuff can be a little bit boring. So here we are back at the Enderman farm, and I have started doing this already. You can see I built the tunnel I'd say about a quarter of the way, I think. It's probably less than that. It's actually probably more like a sixth or a fifth of the way. Maybe even less than that. Now that I think about it, we are quite away from the main island. But this has been really simple and straightforward to build, and I got all the materials to do it as well, so it's just been a case of getting on and building it. Now I did run into a little bit of a problem, which was if I didn't bring enough materials with me, and I'd finished placing all the blocks that I had, I'd go all the way back to get some more, and then when I came back here there'd be a load of Endermen on the top of this area, and then I'm trying to place blocks on the edge here, and sometimes they look at me, which can be a little bit of a problem, but hopefully that won't happen again. And the beacon is in place. I had to actually raise that up by 2 blocks because it was too low down, and oh, kind of glitched out there. That was actually a perfect throw right onto this block where I want to stand. So the beacon, yeah, it's been raised up by 2 blocks, and I put water on top of the beacon block itself. That blocks off the beacon light beam, I guess. Yeah, it blocks it off, so we had to put water all the way around, and when you place it down it goes to the lowest point. So I put one in the corner, it went down in a straight line there and there. So basically we have source blocks in a circle at the top, and then source blocks on each of the iron blocks in each of the corners, and then that covers the entire thing. Now I think it might be possible for Enderman to teleport over to here, but because they're all the way over there, that's probably going to be more than 32 blocks, I think is their distance. So we shouldn't ever get any Endermen spawning or teleporting on top of here, which is good. And so it's just more repetitive building with this to do. Now one of the reasons I made this thing 5 wide is so there was some flexibility with what you could do here. You could run down the middle or walk, you could put a minecart track on one side, and what I wanted to do on the other one, and I'm really glad I remembered this because it means I've got to do a little bit of rebuilding, is have ice at the bottom and hatch doors at the top, I think is how it works. And then that way you can run, you can double tap to sprint, and if you tap space you will move forward very fast. So there'll be multiple ways of transporting or travelling from one end to the other. So before I babble on about this tunnel for too long, the torch lighting is temporary. My plan here is to put in some redstone lamps in the floor. That should provide some nice lighting. However, I don't really have the time at the moment to go hunting for glowstone. I've got the time to build all of this, but not really to do resource gathering, although I am starting to see that this is going to take a lot longer than I originally thought it would. Now one thing that I was originally going to do is actually combine this tunnel with the one that will run parallel to it, and that's going to be an ice stream for items to go down, but that's going to make this thing really big, use a ton of resources and create a ton of space that's not really needed. So alongside this we are going to have an item stream that goes down that side as well, but I'm going to finish this thing first, just get this one done and then see how much time I have, because there's going to be quite a lot of work involved in building that one as well. So yeah, we've got that to do. I'm just going to crack on and try and get as much of this done as I can. So what does that view tell you right there? Right as I say it just occurs to me that it is quite dark and vague to see, so I move forward a little bit. You can just see the edge of the tunnel there, and we've not got too much further to go, and then this thing is complete. Now my plan was to have a staircase that leads up to, and we've got to be careful where we look, up to the portal back to the overworld, and that is not going to be possible. That thing is just too far away from it. If we were to build a staircase, it would be one that goes back and forth on itself all the way up. That would be a huge amount of work, and it would be really slow to climb up and down. So I've been giving it some thought, and basically if you come to the end, it's most likely that you're going to the end farm, and if you're not, you're going somewhere else. Then the portal is up there, so it'll be easy to get to. So from this pad here, I think the best thing to do is to have a drop down, so you immediately drop down into the tunnel, and then if you want to come back up to the top and get over there to the portal, whatever that thing is called, then what we could do is have an ender pearl elevator. Now this would be the perfect place for it, because we're going to be transporting ender pearls back to the overworld, so we could easily fill it up from the stream, and then that way our ender pearl elevator should always be full. So I think the way we would do it is have the drop and the ender pearl elevator over on this side and make it so it's in line with that, and then we could have a similar looking structure up here as we do down there, use the same materials and have water on top. And that Enderman is going down the ladder now, and then we can have it just from the top here, and it could slightly slope up. I put the words together there again, all the way up to that bit up there, so we could have our staircase from around this height going over to the portal, and then we'd have our drop and ender pearl elevator. So hopefully all of that made sense. Anyway, let's head down here and go and have a look at this thing. I've actually died whilst building it, and the way I died was pretty typical. Looked at an Enderman, panicked, didn't think about standing under some blocks or putting down a bucket of water at my feet, and just kind of died. And I don't think I actually lost anything other than a couple of pieces of armor. I kept my pick and all my building materials, and I was quite pleased with that. I've had a lot of luck dying in the end, like when I was building the Enderman farm. And I do have a theory that when you die, that somehow it, tries and keeps most of your items on the blocks, because I was standing on an area like this. There wasn't walls on either side of me, and when I got killed, all the items should have gone all the way around me, but they managed to stay on these. So there's one more thing that I need to tell you about, and that is the ice track that we have on the side. Now originally I had the ice without any blocks above it, and then I decided to lower the ceiling over here by 1 block. It didn't really look that good, and I was going to put some trapdoors on, but you can't place them on the glass. So then I thought about it and I was like, okay, let's see if this works with just a half slab on top of the ice, and it did. And now it's kind of highlighted. The ceiling gets to stay the same, but you can clearly see, if you go stand over here, there's something different going on. So you can probably hear my spacebar rattling away now. That is something that people have been commenting on a couple of my videos. I've actually been forgetting to mention it, but I got a new keyboard recently, and it is very loud. So whenever I go around, you can hear that noise. That's me just hitting spacebar. But yeah, that's the tunnel so far. Not too much longer to go. And you know what? I was planning on doing the stream alongside this episode, but this has taken just so much time and so much resources as well. I'm actually running out of cobblestone, and I think I've definitely got enough to finish off this tunnel and maybe be able to do the one at the top as well. But I'm probably going to leave in the staircase for now, or maybe I'll be able to add an ender pearl elevator. But yeah, it just took so much longer than I expected. So the first tunnel is now finished all the way down to end, and what I thought we would do is sprint from one end to the other. Now you're going to hear a lot of noise because of my noisy keyboard, but if we double tap, we're sprinting. And now if I just tap spacebar like that, we're going to go really, really fast, and it doesn't take that long at all to get from one end to the other. There we go. Excellent. So I finished this bit down here. What we're going to have is an ender pearl elevator. Now I know Biffa had a really cool design at his base, and I went and checked it out, and it was actually made by JL2579, which doesn't surprise me. And I love things like this. I love how there's a really simple solution to something that just gets overlooked for a long time. So I think those guys were also the first people to create the ender pearl elevator, because obviously they saw that you could teleport up, and then over time this has been discovered. You can just have ladders, and on top of those ladders you can have string. Now we don't have that at the bottom because this is actually here to catch your fall. So if I throw this up, there is a mid section, and I'm holding down shift at the moment, so the ender pearl will then hit the string and it will teleport you up here, and because you're holding shift you're going to stand on top of the ladders. So I let go of shift, I fall down a little bit, but from here I can look up and throw another ender pearl as well. And now I've made it all the way to the top. So one thing about that I've noticed is that it doesn't take all of your health. I think if you were to have 3 ender pearls or maybe 4 in a row it would kill you, but with 2 you do have enough health left over, so it doesn't matter for people who don't have feather falling. And then to get back down, all you have to do is drop and fall through like this, and that doesn't take that long at all to get down to the bottom. So one thing I will be removing is this right here. Now I know that you do need ender pearls to get up, which could be an argument not to use it, but it's at the Enderman farm, so it's pretty ridiculous if someone came along and didn't bring back some ender pearls with them. And of course, as I said, we're going to have that stream going alongside in the future, and then we can bring some ender pearls from that over to here and have a little storage buffer, and then there'll always be some available. So let's go up to the top and let's throw these in quick succession. So that one took 2 hearts, and that one looked like 2.5, so possibly a potential of 5 overall. I'm not sure why that was different each time, but it doesn't kill you, which is good. So now I have to always look down. I can't really look around in case I look at an Enderman. We're going to build a bridge, or oops, not a bridge, but like a tunnel that leads upwards, a staircase tunnel going all the way up there to the end bit from this bit here. So we're going to have like a little roof over the top of this. Now this is where I want to do an experiment, because last time I tried to put a roof on this, the blocks disappeared. So what we're actually going to do is place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Should definitely not need more than that. And we're going to leave and then come back to this area, and we'll see how many of those blocks actually remain. Okay, we've got to move quickly here. I've got a silverfish pecking away at my feet, which is really annoying. So let's have a look. How many blocks were removed? Was it this corner here? So 1, 2, 3,
and 4 is the height that we can work with. That could cause a problem because Endermen can technically, yeah, they can stand in a free high area, can't they? So I think they're 2.8 blocks high. So it means they'll be able to teleport into this area right here where the obsidian is. Not really sure of a way we could prevent that, because if we place anything in here it gets removed basically. But that's going to be the height of our roof, and what we'll probably do is come down by half a block on the outside here. So we're just going to have a little room here that extends down to this bit, and then this bit is going to go all the way up there. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish this episode, but we've done enough, we've made a good start, and so if we cover this up right here, then that makes this functional, and then people can just travel across the old way to get over to that bit over there. Now the reason that I'm thinking I won't be able to finish this is because I've run out of cobblestone. I actually have none left. And there's a random floating block. That's probably from when we thought the Ender Dragon. That was a very derpy fight. And another thing about this tunnel as well, to save on stone bricks, what I've actually done, you can see there is left in the Ender Stone in its natural position, which I actually think looks quite cool. It kind of shows you where you're transitioning through the landmass. So anyway, I'm just going to build this bit here, and then we'll see what we can do when I finish that, because as I said, I don't have any cobblestone left. Okay, this top area is now finished, and it looks pretty cool on the inside. A lot of this is really bland though, it's just stone bricks. And so I can't really think of other things you might need, like the occasional chest, but really there's not a lot else that can be done here. It's just purely for transport. But anyway, if we come out on the outside here, you can see the water drops off of the edge and goes all around. And although this isn't really necessary, in fact it's not necessary at all to have the water here, I might actually undo that. I'll probably ask other people's opinions and then take away the water here. But one of the things I did is I dug a trench around the outside so it wouldn't spill over everywhere, and it would just stay where you can see it goes to here. So I've removed the drop down bit with a ladder as well, that's all done. And now I just started to place down a little bit of a staircase, get a rough idea for where that needs to go. Looks like I'm going to have to dig my way out of here. And I just died a moment ago, and I thought, do you know what, I think it's time to call it that, because I don't want to keep dying and running around and getting my items. But I built this little staircase here. This is probably what it's going to look like with everything built around it. It's just going to go up at this gradient. However, when you get to the top here, you're going to walk straight into the bedrock, so I think I need to move this all back just by 1 block. So that's going to start a little bit earlier down there, and there'll be a roof on top of this, of course, and it'll go all around this area up the top here. And if you can see that off in the distance, there is some strange visual glitch. Now I remember when when the end first got added, I used to see that all the time, and I knew it was a glitch, but this time when you can see it, it's all the way out there in the distance, and now it's gone, so I can't show you that unfortunately. But hopefully everyone on the server will like this. It's definitely convenient, and now there's going to be safer transport. We've got the Ender Pearl elevator in place. I was hoping to do so much more, but now that I think about it, we've actually done quite a lot with all this building, and I'm not surprised that I've run out of materials. But at some point in the future we'll come back here and I'll finish this bit off. So I guess that is going to be it for this episode. I guess this one wasn't too eventful. I was hoping to do a lot more, like I said. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and being attacked by an Enderman.